Don in London, hello. My videos all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour, recovery one day long. So my life plan is just for today. I've stopped doing coping strategies as much as possible because having the ability to cope, often said to be a spiritual connection to now, means that we are dealing with day-to-day stresses, coping with stresses which are beyond what are good for us, I suspect. So a life plan one day long, that suits me. And this thing of coping, when I was involved in doing life skills, I think it's called these days, but I used to call it personal development planning. I was always advising or suggesting or being a part of things I knew about, rather than being a life skills trainer, which is a process. So life skills we learn from doing the experience, and it would be unhelpful of me to include things in my repertoire of skills or processes which I have no knowledge of. So if you ask me to be a doctor or advise a doctor on their technical knowledge, that would be inadvisable. And similarly, if I were trying to advise on how to run a business, be it a big one or a small one, I may have inputs depending on what I know, on what other people don't know. So I like to stick with what I know works, and work with what works. It's part of the phrase we use at the beginning of the end of fellowship meetings. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of things here. My video is about sharing experience, strength and hope, and doing the best we can with the day we've got, and for me, without a drink inside me. So what has made that possible over the last few years is simply fellowship, being a part of something, being included, getting to understand what 12 steps of action, attitude and behaviour can do for me. And that's because of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I don't speak for it. It doesn't have any leaders who speak for it. It likes to keep a low profile, I guess, because it's anonymous. So what happens in the rooms of AA stays in the rooms of AA. But I can share where I've been and what has happened to me because of, and the experiences that I have. So everybody is unique and authentic. Everybody has a view of life. And the less judgmental I am about other people's behaviour and attitudes, the better I can get on with mine and find out what I may do on a daily basis. I've got my choices back. And so when people maybe anticipate or expect or think that I'm willing and able to do something for them, sometimes I must just say no, because it's not for me to do. My life is what I need to do, and make my choices as I go. So that's not being selfish, it's just acknowledging there's some things I can do if asked, and don't expect it and don't anticipate it. So the answer is yes, I may help if I can, but no, I may not help if it's contrary or unhelpful to me. Fairly simple. Most people do this as a matter of course and don't even give it a second thought. But if you've been downtrodden, fearful, putting on a brave face and wondering what life is all about, if somebody asks you to do something, you're more likely to say yes than no. So part of my recovery is learning how to say no. And Gandhi said, an emphatic no is better than a half-hearted yes. And if people respect that, all well and good. If they don't respect it, then all well and good, they'll probably leave us alone for a while. And that's well and good too. So enough of that. I share stuff about AA simply because it works for me. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is not the only way to get sober. There are many ways to get sober, as there are people. So even though people go to a fellowship to get experience, strength and hope, they also go to find out if there's anything available in the wisdom from other people which can then be utilised in their or my life. And that's the gift of fellowship. Nobody can tell you what to do. That's tradition one. And if anything changes in the fellowship, in the groups, it has to be done by a group conscience. So it's a very flat organisation. It has no hierarchy. It has nobody in it who can tell you what to do. There are suggestions and maybe a few, it's good to do these things, rather than you must do this in case you're going to go drink again. Or if you don't follow our path, you will fail. The answer is you won't fail. There is no failure in life. There are just circumstances and experiences. So some experiences will lead us to a shorter life, and I guess I shortened mine considerably by drinking. And the life I had when I was drinking, a lot of it was joyful as well as sad. So nothing has been lost. experience is worth it if we can still utilise it and we're still alive. In the programme of AA, it's the 8th, in one of the books it's the 8th month and 8th step, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but I'll just share the AA preamble as I usually do, simply because it makes me focus on what is important in the message of these videos. And it goes like this: statement of intent, if you like, from AA. The people in it, not anything else. People in it are just people. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And I went to a meeting last night which was really very good in the Boltons. I was there and I heard a chair, that's somebody speaking what they know about a particular step of the 12-step programme, and it was step 2 yesterday, which is all about being restored to sanity. I came to believe a higher power could restore us to sanity, and the higher power for me is good conscience, listening to the wisdom of other people, and truth coming out. So I've come to an understanding of what God may be for me on a daily basis, and that's what we do. Each person decides what their God is and how it works for them. So the higher power for me is listening to the truth of others, so God is truth, accepting that I can be loved by other people and I can love them back in a very straightforward way, which is again, God is love. And the third one, God being linked to good conscience, to the better side of our nature, to not compliance to something, but an understanding of how it is to be with the world, and generosity of heart. And you know, the programme gives me that on a daily basis. And there's 2 short readings, one from this book, Daily Reflections, which I want to share, if I don't let everything fall on the floor. Here we go. 25th of August. In the the Daily Reflections, it's all about the 8th step in August, but this was a bit vague on that one. It says, relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. And in other words, to look to the good conscience, be a part of and included, and love people. Many times in my alcoholic state I drank to establish a bond between myself and others, but I succeeded only in establishing the bondage of alcoholic loneliness. That was me in the end as well. Through the AA way of life I received the gift of bonding with those who were there before me, with those who are there now, and with those who are yet to come. For this gracious gift from God I am forever grateful, and as God works through people and truth and love. Yippee, I'm on track. And I'm not being glib when I say that. It might seem like I'm trying to make sure I share these before it's too late. As Bill sees it, it says talk or action, page 187. In making amends, which is all about step 8, writing the list, not doing them, it is seldom wise to approach an individual who still smarts from our injustice to him and announce that we have gone religious. And I'm afraid I haven't gone religious, I've just stayed spiritual, living in the now. This might be called leading with the chin. Why lay ourselves open to being branded as fanatics or religious bores, which is what could happen? If we do this, we may kill a future opportunity to carry a beneficial message. But the man who hears our amends is sure to be impressed with our sincere desire to set right a wrong. He is going to be more interested in a demonstration of goodwill than talk of spiritual discoveries. So true. So, you know, it's about practically doing something and not flinching and understanding that we did have a part in it, and, you know, trying to find excuses for our behaviour is not really helpful. Oh. I tried to do this video earlier, I had a phone call which was good, and then I tried again. It's been difficult this morning. I'm in pain. It's just the way it is. Sometimes neuropathy gets the better of me, and reducing the medication is not such a good idea after all. Anyway, what keeps me sober? Alcoholics Anonymous, and an understanding with myself that I can make better choices sober, and the serenity prayer to God or your good conscience is, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference remains always just for today.